This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
More of your money. They can't get enough. They cannot get enough. Our elected officials want more of your money, more of my money, more of Wyatt's money. Unbelievable. I'm going to get to that in just a second. And I wasn't even going to do that this week, Wyatt. I was going to try to get in the Christmas spirit. I have been, kind of, until today. There's a Grinch story here in a second we'll talk about. But starting next week, we will be in the holiday spirit. Got Christmas next week, New Year's after that. Since everything falls in the middle of the week, we'll be taking about 2 weeks off of the show, which will give us a little break. But if you want to call in or text or comment throughout the show today, you can call or text the Hunt Irrigation Talk and Text line, 402-479-1400. Today, we're going to revisit some shows. We've been doing that all week. Today, we're going to be joined by a woman who has really lived a life alongside me and my family through the ups and downs. Someone I really have turned to when life throws me curveballs. I don't know if you've had some curveballs thrown at you, but she always gives me some of the best advice. Traci Morrow, successful businesswoman, best-selling author, speaker, relationships and personal development expert for the John Maxwell Organization. She's going to join us, and we're going to talk about how to deal with traumatic life events in a healthy way. All right, everybody's excited about it. They can't wait. We're all dressed up here. Husker volleyball tonight, taking on Penn State. Wyatt and I both think we're going to win. No, we know we're going to win. We're just going to win. The match starts 30 minutes after the Louisville Pitt game, which starts about 5:30 here, just in, 20 minutes or so. And then we're looking probably around 8 o'clock for the Husker match. You can hear it right here on KLIN. Probably around 7 o'clock we'll have pregame. When they win, they're going to take on the winner of Louisville and Pitt. That match will be on Sunday afternoon at 2. Again, you can hear that right here on KLIN. All right, the Grinch is loose. He's on the loose, Wyatt. I don't know if you saw this or heard this. There's a search for a real-life Grinch right here in Lincoln, who stole a countertop Salvation Army kettle from a U-stop at Highway 34 in Fletcher last week. Boo! The red kettle, right by the register, was there. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you saw this, but it's on Facebook. If you go to U-Stop's page, they've got everything in like 4K quality. So this guy's it's not going to take long for him to get busted. But did you see the video, Wyatt?
I did not.
Oh boy, you need to go watch it. I mean, this guy's sly. He's out there at the gas pump, then he walks in, he looks around for a few seconds, grabs that old kettle, sticks it under his big old coat, and just walks right out. And there were several people there. There was probably 2 or 3 other people kind of around him. So there's the Grinch. Why would you do this? That money goes to help people right here in Lincoln and Lancaster County. So don't let that stop you from wanting to give, which, that's kind of the concern now. It's like, well, if I put money in there and they make decent money from what I hear, then is that money going to get stolen? So anyway, go out to U-Stop's Facebook page and you can kind of catch that story. They kind of had fun with the video. And, they've had a Grinch on there and they showed the video and you can kind of see everything that's going on. So check that out. And I think this story's got me irritated for the next story. So let's take our first break. When we come back, our government officials continue to want free access to your wallet, kind of like the Grinch. And unfortunately, many Lincolnites are letting them. We don't have to do it. We don't have to fall for it. I'm going to dig into that next. And then later on the show, we'll hear from my dear friend, Traci Morrow. Again, you can call or text in 402-479-1400. You can also comment on social media, any of our 8 feeds, like Leanne. Leanne said, caught it, perfect timing. So Leanne, welcome to the show. All right, thanks so much for listening to Drive Time Nebraska. We'll be back after this.
The holiday spirit is alive and well on our sister station, B107.3. But we'll be here when you need us. 1499.3 KLIN.
Shop Woodhouse Mazda during the Season to Move You sales event. Visit the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers and explore our exceptional lineup. Right now, purchase any new Mazda and finance at low special rates and make no payments for 90 days. Start your journey with us online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com. with approved credit, tax title license extra. Must finance with Mazda Financial Services. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires January 2nd, 2025. See dealer for details.
Ring in the new year 25K richer at Warhorse Lincoln. Play your favorite slots and table games to enter. Every 5 tier points equals 1 entry, with 5 times the entries on Saturdays and 1 free entry daily. Then celebrate New Year's Eve at Warhorse, where we're giving away $2,025 in free slot play every hour from 6 p.m. to midnight, with the big $25,000 cash grand prize drawing at 1 a.m. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln, Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER. Ring in the new year 25K richer at Warhorse Lincoln. Play your favorite slots and table games to enter. Every 5 tier points equals 1 entry, with 5 times the entries on Saturdays and 1 free entry daily. Then celebrate New Year's Eve at Warhorse, where we're giving away $2,025 in free slot play every hour from 6 p.m. to midnight, with the big $25,000 cash grand prize drawing at 1 a.m. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln, Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Discover the difference with Oak Electric, a local woman-owned business offering premium electrical service at competitive prices. With over 25 years of experience, their master electrician is one of Lincoln's top experts. Their small, dedicated team focuses on quality control and safety for your family or business. Experience the premium customer service you deserve. When life happens, call Oak Electric at 402-440-5969 because they always answer the phone. Oak Electric, where quality and safety come first.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Disagree with Doug? The guests? The topic? Call or text 402-479-1400 now to be a part of the show. KLIN Weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
A very windy day today here in the capital city, with winds occasionally gusting over 50 miles per hour. There continues to be a wind advisory in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. As we talk about our temperatures, we'll be dropping down into the low to mid-teens overnight tonight, and high temperatures climbing up on Friday only into the mid to upper 20s, well below average for this time of year. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Carmelo Latuca.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
On the downhill side of our drive time traffic, do watch for slowdowns. 34th and Pine Lake Road, an earlier accident, likely still running slow. 34th and Pine Lake. Otherwise, most traffic moving well. A few volume slowdowns, and we do have several construction projects. We'll want to keep in mind 17th Street, A to O Street, lane closures for a water main and paving project. Make sure the headlights are on. If you come across anything that slows you down, call the traffic hotline 402-479-1414. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
Now, back to more Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
All right, I have something funny or interesting, or I don't even know how to describe it after I talk about Kristen Christie, all right? So yesterday we re-aired our show with her and shared her story, turning a devastating pain into a powerful purpose. She had lost her husband to suicide, had a son that suicide tried the best to take his life. We hear that voicemail, and then another son who ran away has never been seen since again. So she has made it her life mission to really help and educate people on mental health and suicide prevention across the world, with really helping hundreds of thousands of people. She's a co-creator. Anytime you've seen the 988 for the suicide helpline, Kristen pushed it through. So if you missed that podcast, go to klin.com. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's good and bad. They took my video on YouTube down of the show yesterday, because I said it was of self-harm and suicide. I'm like, why didn't you do that the first time we aired the show? But then I got an email right after that said, hi there, we're reaching out to you because members of the YouTube community, including your fellow creators, viewers, and staff, have expressed concern for your safety or well-being after coming across content that you posted with topics relating to suicide and self-harm. If you or someone you know is experiencing this, we want you to get help. And then it goes on, we care about you. You're not alone. Go to this website, and guess where it leads you to? 988. So that's good and bad, I guess. I don't know. A lot of that's algorithm stuff. And if I could just talk to the people at YouTube, say, listen, you're taking down a valuable video that will help save lives, not hurt lives. So, but I have to, on the flip side of that, say, you know what? At least they're looking out for the good of people. So thanks, YouTube. So, all right, we're they're not going to stop. Let me say hi to Jack first. Jack's watching down in Florida. Leanne, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate that. I'm going to get out some holiday cheer here before I get into the Grinch mode. They're not going to stop. They continue to come after you. They continue to come after me to squeeze as much money out of you as possible. City of Lincoln's voters approved a 1/4-cent sales tax increase for street improvements. This was called Lincoln on the Move, and it's set to expire September 2025. The city leaders hope that you and me renew the program. Well, of course they do. You did it with the stormwater bond. Ugh. If we have control of voting for it, we have two controls. The people that are in power, we vote for them or don't vote for them. And when they put a bond issue up, you either vote for it or you don't. So Mayor Larry Gaylor Baird was joined by officials today to deliver the 2023-24 Lincoln on the Move annual report. This year, the program brought in $19.3 million. Let me rephrase that. You brought in $19.3 million and funded nearly 27 lane miles of street improvements, new construction, a variety of neighborhood projects, and so forth, which is great, right? We complain about the roads. Now, the mayor didn't come out and say she wanted voters to renew the initiative, but you know she does. To date, the city's invested $79.5 million in street improvements and new construction through the program. The mayor said, simply put, the Lincoln on the Move. We've seen an acceleration in our community's economy, safety, and quality of life. Without Lincoln on the Move, $18 million of annual street funding goes away, a severe blow to our community's momentum and quality of life. Then Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Director Liz Elliott said that without Lincoln on the Move, the 1/4-cent sales tax, the community faces a future with fewer street improvements, longer wait time for street projects, higher street repair costs as interest rates and material costs continue to climb. Quote, at the City of Lincoln, we will continue to build new streets and maintain existing ones to serve our growing community. However, without additional sales tax funds to offset a future gap in funding, we would need to prepare for a much different reality. One with significant negative impacts on street safety, congestion, and future costs. How about this reality? How about the city first start trimming the fat? Cut the city budget. Next year's city budget is approximately $350 million total. $350 million total. The next that tax was generated from the tax that was generated from the Lincoln on the Move was 19.3. That's nearly 5.5% of the city budget amount. Trim the fat. That's a great place to start. You know, we need Elon and Vivek, right? They came out yesterday when Congress put out that crazy budget with ridiculous spending, and Elon posted on Twitter, and oh my goodness, congressmen and senators got called and they shut that thing down quick because Elon said, if you don't cut this, we will vote you out. What about the excess funds or carryover funds from the 2023-24 fiscal year of $16.1 million? They weren't used in the budget. Rather than return those funds back to us or put them to the upcoming budget to reduce the taxes on us, the mayor and the city council just had to spend them on something. Why not on streets? 16.1 million right there. What about the gambling tax? Let's talk about that. To date, the city and the county have received $1.3 million of funds that are discretionary. These are discretionary funds. They get to choose where that money goes. There's $1.3 million. What about the wheel taxes we pay? You know, the top two taxes that kill the average person in this city and this county are property taxes and vehicle registration taxes. The wheel tax alone is $77 from what I found out a car, or $111 for a truck each year. That would be approximately $25 to $30 million. How are we managing those funds that are supposed to go to streets? And then what about the fuel tax? I'm going, Wyatt. I'm telling you. 29.6 cents of every single gallon of gas or fuel. $7.50 for every time I fill up my truck. Where's it going? Who's managing it? How about we elect leaders that will cut the fat and effectively manage our money, ultimately cutting our taxes and not raising them, rather than saying, oh, I sure hope our citizens vote in another initiative to raise taxes. You're going to hear me say vote no on Lincoln on the Move and vote yes to candidates who will do a better job of managing our money. That's it. That's it. Just like what we saw with Elon, Vivek, demanding that Congress trying to, stop passing a budget with plumb full of fat. All right, line one. We've got a caller on line one. Welcome to Drive Time Nebraska. Sorry, I'm a little riled up, but I'd love to hear your thoughts or your question.
This is a friendly challenge. It's nothing serious, but I thought for some time I would like to invite Mayor Gaylor Baird to ride with me around town. She can wear a white pantsuit and have half a glass of red Kool-Aid. And I would take her to some of these areas of town and to see how well she comes out at the end of the ride.
I love that invitation. Yeah,
it's not mean that, she's welcome to take me up on it, but I just thought we've experienced, I don't think we could get probably a couple miles in certain areas of town without her being splashed on. So.
And I appreciate that because our streets are horrible, yet we've got all this money, and now they want us to vote in more money for streets. And I don't know what's going on. I wish Elon would come here to Lincoln. Come here to Lincoln and do some tweets against our elected officials and see what happens.
But we just came through an election, and I don't know, people just don't understand. The election box matters.
It does.
We have county commissioners that were funded by the same group that's putting in the solar panels. Where's the accountability on that?
Oh, don't get me started on that. They passed that on the planning commission yesterday or the day before. And Chelsea Johnson, her campaign started with them funding her and several other energy companies funding her. Now they're in her back pocket. Of course, they're going to vote things through. I agree with you, man.
Okay, so why can't she recuse herself and things like that? When people have funded her campaign come up to a vote, why can't she recuse herself on those votes then?
They won't. She got the money, $200,000 for the campaign almost. Got her elected.
Well, it did. And people I just get frustrated people don't seem to learn. I mean, it's like, we do the same thing over and over, but we expect different results.
Yep. I agree with you. Well, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Your time.
You bet. Absolutely. That's right there. It's exactly it. Do we need streets taken care of? Yes. Does it cost money? Yes. I understand that. But why do we continue to ask for more taxes versus turn things around, clean house first, then let's ask for taxes? And am I imperfect on this? No. Do I understand it all? Absolutely not. But I know what's going on in Washington right now, and we're starting to see that. We put the right people in the right place to start the process. Let's clean up and tighten things up. I've said this before. When my family's dealing with tight budget situations, guess what? We have to deal with it. We have to cut. We have to clean things out. We have to lean things up. Hey, and when money's coming in, guess what? When money's coming in, you get a little loose, get a little flabby, spend money on things you wouldn't normally spend money on. But then when you need to cut, it's a little different story because it hurts a little bit more. There's always room to cut. There's always room to cut. And to be lean and put the money where it can really help our community. Anyway, when I saw that, I'm just like, oh my goodness, here we go. I'm going to ask for more money on this next. And just like our caller said, we have control of this. We have control of this. Who do we put in? What we vote for or don't vote for? All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear from Traci Morrow. This will be better. This will be uplifting. She's a successful businesswoman, best-selling author, speaker, relationships expert for the John Maxwell Organization. We're going to talk about how to deal with traumatic life events in a healthy way. The holidays, sometimes it's just hard because it brings back a lot of tough and difficult memories and feelings for a lot of people. And Traci's going to help us walk through that. Cities from across the state across the country and across the world. They're listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
The holiday spirit is alive and well on our sister station, B107.3. But we'll be here when you need us. 1499.3 KLIN.
First time buying or selling silver or gold? Lincoln Coin & Bullion is Nebraska's largest historic currency and bullion dealer with staff happy to inform and educate. Give them a call.
It's the season of joy and a time to reflect on all of our blessings.
This season, we're grateful for you and the events that take flight all year long. Happy holidays from all of us at
Sand Hills Global Event Center.
This holiday season, may your home be filled with love, laughter, family and friends, and lots of memories made. Warmest wishes to you this Christmas from Katie Allen at Woods Brothers Realty.
Extending special holiday wishes and every happiness from Broadcast House and all our friends.
Best of Big Red, the best selection of Adidas sideline gear.
The best variety of women's style.
Kids apparel, volleyball gear, autographed items, home and office decor, custom items, and even exclusive NIL player jerseys. Commemorate this year's Pinstripe Bowl appearance and the volleyball team's 5th Big Ten championship with limited edition items. The only locally owned Husker shop. 2 locations, 70th and A and 8th and Q. Always open at bestofbigred.com. Best of Big Red, the best for your Big Red life.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Have you ever been to Rodizio Grill? Let me tempt you. Start your Rodizio experience with our hot, unlimited appetizers. Indulge on our award-winning gourmet salad bar with over 35 items. Then, 16 delicious, sizzling, rotisserie grilled meats and grilled items like our tender top sirloin and Rodizio's signature glazed pineapple, as much as you'd like.
Rodizio Grill, the Brazilian steakhouse.
Nebraska's authentic Brazilian steakhouse, located in the downtown Haymarket.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
A very windy day today here in the capital city with winds occasionally gusting over 50 miles per hour. There continues to be a wind advisory in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. As we talk about our temperatures, we'll be dropping down into the low to mid-teens overnight tonight, and high temperatures climbing up on Friday only into the mid to upper 20s, well below average for this time of year. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Carmelo Latuca.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
Wrapping up our traffic reports, no new accidents or major delays. Most traffic moving well and getting back to normal. An earlier accident, 34th and Pine Lake Road, may still be running a little slow. We do have several construction projects and utility projects. Do watch for lane shifts and lane closures. Keep in mind, South 56 from Normal to Van Dorn. Southbound is closed. You'll have to choose an alternate route. Use extra caution with our gusty winds. Give those high-profile vehicles a little extra room. Make sure the headlights are on. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
Tackling the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans head on. With the occasional targeting call, this is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, this week we've been playing some of our favorite shows from 2024 as we close out the year and look forward to 2025. Today we hear from Traci Morrow. Well, life happens, right? I mean, traumatic things happen in our lives. We all have had it happen to us, or we will if we haven't. And the question is, how do you deal with it in a healthy way? A week ago, right now, I probably had the second most traumatic event in my life happen. The first was the death of my sister in a car accident. That was a long time ago, but very traumatic, 35 years ago or so. But I tell you what, I'm not going to get into details of what happened last week, but I think there's some wisdom that we can glean from this because we're all going to deal with something, right? Jack's dealing with the hurricane. Obviously, Hurricane Helene has killed so many people, displaced so many people. Maybe it's a relationship destroyed, finances crushed. maybe you've lost a job, whatever it might be. So many ways that trauma hits. And I couldn't think of anybody better to come in and kind of walk me through this than my dear friend, Traci Morrow, who anytime there is anything traumatic in my life, she has helped our family walk through that process. Traci is a successful businesswoman, best-selling author, speaker, and also works with the John Maxwell organization, where she's making a tremendous impact in personal development. So Traci, welcome back to the show. You are not a stranger.
I'm not a stranger. I am your friend. And I am so happy to be here with you. Does feel like sitting together in a living room over a cup of coffee, or as you said, a beer.
And Wyatt. We have to get that for Wyatt.
Just having a beer with Wyatt, no big deal.
No big deal. You know, when traumatic events happen, Traci, we go through the gamut of emotions, right? Fear, anger, frustration, insecurity, regret, depression, anxiety, hopelessness. And I was trying to think all the things I was feeling over the last week, wanting to throw in the towel. And it can drive people into a severe depression. And the question is, exactly what Jack was talking about. It's like, how do you deal with the hurricane? He goes, it's all about preparation. It's all about being prepared for those moments. And I think when trauma happens, it's being prepared. And it's like what I always tell my kids, when you find yourself in a compromising situation, think about how you'd react to that before you even get into the situation.
Right.
And that's what we're doing today. And maybe you're going through something traumatic right now. Maybe this will hit you right where you are, but maybe this is a good thing to tuck away in the back of your head. So Traci, when something does happen, kind of walk us through, what do you think is important as far as maybe a first step?
Well, the first step is the steps that you take beforehand. So I'm just going to talk to you, those of you who are not in it yet, before we get to being in it, because John Maxwell will say often that when you're talking about an opportunity, and we tend to hear opportunity and we think of a great opportunity, don't we? Opportunity has such a positive, uplifting feel to it. But there can be negative opportunities, an opportunity for of loss, an opportunity for to lose it all. We can lose it all in a moment. We can lose our marriage. We could lose our business. We could lose our home, our electricity, our food source, our power source, everything in a moment's notice, can't we?
Yep.
And we don't see it coming a lot of times. And so the quote that he uses is, when opportunity knocks, it's too late to prepare. And so what we can do now is the time we put into preparing our hearts, preparing our minds, and preparing for what if. So I when things are going wonderfully, I'm always checking with myself. Am I getting too attached to the good? Am I getting, if this were to go away, is this going to rock my world? Am I so attached to this that if this weren't here, that I lose my whole identity, that I lose my comfort, that I lose my faith? And if so, then maybe my priorities have shifted a little bit. So the preparation for a catastrophe and for an amazing opportunity, right? We prepare for growth opportunities, a business opportunity, for something incredible to happen to us by growing. And we prepare for catastrophes by growing and working on ourselves inwardly, so that when something happens, it's too late to suddenly become a person of character, to become a person who can withstand the hard, heavy storms, right? And so we've had some pretty heavy hits in our lives. And what happens now, maybe you're somebody who has had a heavy hit, like Fitz was just talking about. I call him Fitz. He's my friend from years. And you all know him as Doug. I know him as Fitz. You can call him Fitz too.
Sure.
Welcome into our friendship. The first thing I did is I shut out the outside voices. I shut out all the noise on social media. I shut out all the time wasters like TV shows and silly podcasts and things that didn't feed me. I shut out a lot of music that was silliness, and I really listened to things that grounded me in my faith and the things that truly anchored my spirit and what I truly believed was right. And I instead replaced it with things that I knew were true and would anchor me back to what I knew would last when other things weren't lasting in the moment. So blocking those things out, you're going to see people, you might see people who say you lost your marriage, or in Fitz's case, when he loses his sister. And you might see other happy families, or you see other people and their life is just going on and the world just stopped for you. And it can feel a little bit like, did God forget me? Why are these people celebrating when my whole world just came to a stop? And that's why you need to shut out the noise of the happy people and the angry people and the people who are just showing that life is continuing on, because it does, and it will again for you. And anchor yourself back to those truths. What do you know? What do you know? And do you have anchoring truths? That might be a time for you to really just get back to like, what do I know is true and good and right and healthy? What do I know about myself? What do I know about God that's going to anchor me back to, what's going to help me get through this? Because the best way through something is to go through it. So that is really one of the first things that I do and that I did.
Before we take a break here, one of the things I think I learned it from John is when something happens, take 24 hours. Like, absolutely, take 24 hours and just let it all out. Just lament, feel sad, be angry. Obviously, don't hurt somebody, but or yourself,
including yourself,
right?
Yeah.
But at least allow yourself the freedom to mourn. Allow yourself the freedom to just be mad and frustrated, and then make a defining moment of when you're going to be done with that. So then you can pivot and look towards the future. What do I need to do now for myself or my family so that it's a healthy reaction now and not a damaging reaction? Is that true? I mean, that's what I do.
No, that's exactly right. You need to, part of the human experience are those really low lows, those overwhelming like waves just crashing one on top of the other of this deep grief, betrayal, wounding, anger, maybe shame even. Not that we all know in our heads we shouldn't have shame, but all of that just can wash over us and we just feel like there's a hopelessness. Part of the human experience are all of those emotions. And so allowing yourself to feel them, knowing in your mind, this is just not going to last for forever. And I'm just going to sit in it, and I'm going to go back to those anchoring truths that I do know, and surround yourself with the people who love you and who will sit with you in it. Call a friend, call someone who you trust, who loves you, who will sit with you in it. That's what Fitz and I do. Yep. That's what Fitz and Tammy will do. That's what I do with my husband. That's what I do with my kids who I trust. Dear friends, my dear friend Tony Horton, who's a friend of this show. He's been on here before.
Yep.
Dear friends who will get on the phone with you and sit with you in your grief, who will sit and cry with you, listen to you, and let you lament in your ugliest moment and be like, I love you and I'm here for you. And it's okay. And it's okay to feel these things and know that that's part of the human experience.
All right, let's take our final break here. When we come back, I'd like to talk about maybe maintaining routines through a process like this.
Yep.
And also, Traci, you reminded me of something this week about just having an abundance mindset. And I want to have you dig into that a little bit because that was very eye-opening for me. Thanks so much for listening on your drive home today. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Whatever the story, have your say.
How can politics not play a role?
Your station, your conversation.
It's all relevant.
1499.3 KLIN.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Sports Nightly is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
Whether you are new to precious metals or a seasoned stacker, Lincoln Quinn & Bullion has what you need. Check out our website, lincolnquinnandbullion.com, to view our extensive in-house inventory where products and transparent pricing are updated daily. Call ahead to schedule your private appointment and take your items home the same day or have them shipped directly to you at no additional charge. We have been locally owned and operated for over 16 years and have earned an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Lincoln Quinn & Bullion, Nebraska's largest coin, currency, and bullion dealer.
In this season of togetherness, support older adults through Tabitha. Remember Lincoln area residents who just don't have the luxury of friends or family nearby or the means to shop for and cook food. 81% cannot afford to cover the cost of this meal delivery that allows them to remain independent at home. Give the gift of meals with Tabitha Meals on Wheels. Go to tabitha.org/serve and make a donation today. Tabitha Foundation is a purpose-driven 501c3 nonprofit. Your donation is tax deductible.
Aging Partners NeighborLink connects volunteers with homebound seniors age 60 and over and persons with disabilities who need additional support. Volunteers will help pick up and deliver groceries, library books, meals, and medications, or maybe a friendly voice who's just checking in. Call 441-7575 or visit neighborlnk@lincoln.ne.gov. Sponsored by the City of Lincoln, Aging Partners, and the Seniors Foundation. NeighborLink, 441-7575.
Ready for the deal? The deal of 2024? John Henry's is providing 0% interest with equal monthly payments. Plus, save an additional $2,025 with same-day installation on new heating and cooling systems through December. Find out more at calljh.com. Again, that's the word calljh.com. Or give us a call at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
We are so excited at A.T. Thomas Jewelers. Our elves have been working so hard to bring you the most incredible selection of jewelry you've ever seen, and at the best prices.
I think they've all made the nice list this year.
So there's something for everyone.
We have fast service and convenient parking.
Santa can be in and out with the perfect presents for under the tree.
Happy holidays from all of us at A.T. Thomas Jewelers.
Celebrating Christmas with you since 1977.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
A very windy day today here in the capital city with winds occasionally gusting over 50 miles per hour. There continues to be a wind advisory in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. As we talk about our temperatures, we'll be dropping down into the low to mid-teens overnight tonight, and high temperatures climbing up on Friday only into the mid to upper 20s, well below average for this time of year. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Carmelo Latuca.
Training threes on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional technical or two. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Janice, thanks so much for your comment. She asks, when will the arena tax go away? I don't know. I'm going to have to dig into that one to find out. That's an interesting one as well. And I know that technically is, focused mainly for people from out of town visiting and all that, and add a lot to our economy and in the business segment downtown. There's just a lot of taxes. So, all right. I want to thank our title sponsor, Lincoln Coin and Bullion, for taking care of us here at the show and for being my precious metals dealer for well over a decade now. They've been around for over 15 years, and they're the place to go. Well trusted, well respected in the city, the state, this part of the Midwest. Just call them up for a personal appointment, 402-327-2853, or you can go to their website, lincolncoinandbullion.com. All right, we're joined today by Traci Morrow. Traci's a successful businesswoman, dear friend, best-selling author, speaker, and works with the John Maxwell Group as well. We've been talking about how do you deal with traumatic events that happen in your life in a healthy way. So, Traci, before we broke, there's something about an abundance mindset, and you shared this with me about experience you even had this last week with, I think it was your son-in-law that shared, kind of reminded you. What's the difference between scarcity and abundance, and how does that relate then into, when we're going through something that's really weighing heavy on us?
Well, one of the things that I had said to my son-in-law that I was sharing with you is that I just said it's just, we caught lightning in a bottle. And you just don't catch lightning in a bottle twice. And he's like, Mom, first of all, can I just say I love that my son-in-law calls me Mom?
Yes.
I just love that so much. That's so dear to me. But he just said, Mom, don't say that. It will happen again for you. You need to, that's a scarcity mindset. And you need to have an abundance mindset. And he said, I don't want to hear you talk like that. It will happen again. And I thought, that's right. You know what? I talk about that all the time. And it's funny how while I talk to people about that, I coach people on that. And I do believe that in a crisis moment, what comes out of your mouth and what you speak over yourself or speak out to other people in this negative moment was, I said, yeah, you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. I just made it this one-off, one moment thing instead of just the fact that like it took a lot of hard work to get there. It took a lot of intentionality to get there. And I made it like it was this thing by chance. And so just by him speaking that was me going down by just my instincts to go down a negative thought pattern. And it was stopping me to say, you know what? That's right. I'm not going to look at it that way. It's a choice. How we view things very quickly becomes how we do things. Because if I believe for too long that situation in my life was catching lightning in a bottle, rather than a result of my really hard intentional work, then I'm not going to work as hard to catch lightning again, because I feel like that was a one and done. And so, but if I change my thinking, if I stop that intentionally and instead say, no, you know what, you're right. And it is possible. And I'm going to work like crazy intentionally to recreate that. Then I think I said to you, Fitz, I felt like in my jar, I felt like I had little fireflies beginning to buzz around again. And that was the visual for me that like, no, I am going to choose to have belief that I know how to build and do that again. And so the difference between scarcity and abundance is scarcity believes that I can't do that again, or that will never happen for me again, or that's not possible for me, or love won't come for me again, or happiness isn't meant for me, it's only for other people, or money isn't out there to be made. And instead, abundance mindset says, there is love for me. There are friendships for me. There is success for me. There is money to be made out into the world. And I have the skills or the desire to attain the skills. And there are ways for me to get those skills. And I can bring those to me by being a hard worker and intentional to seek them out and to find mentors who can help me with that. And with hard work and taking the proper steps, there becomes, John Maxwell will say, traction comes in action. The word action is even in the word traction. So by moving, and then things start to come my way. And so I just feel like that is such a positive outlook in how you think actually can determine what happens in your life.
One of the things you focus on personally and with your business is working with people in their marriages. And right. Man, as you were talking about that, I was just thinking, because I've shared this openly in my book too, about, the worst night that Tammy and I had and the argument and everything that transpired after that. That's right. But man, in the moment, right, it feels hopeless. It feels hopeless. And this hope of what you're talking about abundance, maybe it's a marriage that dissolves. There's not anybody else out there for me, or our relationship will never get better. One thing that somebody had told me, oh my goodness, it's been like a year or two ago, is don't use words that are absolute. I'll never have this again. You never do this. It never happens that way. That's just not, those things aren't true.
That's right.
And that's part of that negativity or that scarcity mindset, which I think is really interesting. So
it also has to do with your feelings. I think it's important. I believe God gave us our feelings. It's a part of us processing. If we live too much in our head and don't connect to our heart, then we miss a whole part of the intuitive part of us, that our feelings are meant to be working in tandem with how we think. And if we cut off our head from our heart and we deal too much with our feelings, then we aren't really working logically. But if we work too logically and we get away from our heart, then we're cutting off from the feeling and true heart connection with people. But one of the things that my mom used to say and that has really stuck with me and is actually true is you can't feel your way into action. If you wait to feel till you feel like doing the right thing, till you feel like taking that first step, till you feel like getting off your couch and making some phone calls or signing up for a course or going out and recruiting somebody or picking up the phone or whatever it is, asking somebody for help, then you might be waiting the whole rest of your life and waste years and years. But you can act your way into a feeling. So I'm going to tell you something. When I've had crisis in my life, I have not felt like doing anything. I haven't necessarily felt like picking up the phone and calling somebody. I haven't felt like getting up and getting straight to work because I felt just that pit in my stomach and just a sickness and that dark cloud on your head. I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about if you've had any kind of darkness or hard thing in your life. But I acted my way into a feeling when I got up and I made a couple phone calls. And I got someone on the line who was like enthusiastic and said, like, tell me more about this. Or, yes, I've got somebody you should talk to, Tracy. Or when I was down in the dumps and Tony Horton called me and he said, hey, you know what? I'm getting on a call next week. I should talk to you about this. This might be something you're interested in, Tracy. Or somebody else said, hey, Tracy, listen to this podcast. This is what you were talking about. This might spark something. It does spark something. And just by acting before I waited till I felt like it, my feelings started to rise a little bit. It did spark something in me. It started to make me feel like doing the next thing.
Oh, so good. Great stuff. Tracy, I wish we could be on here for a whole nother hour, and we're going to have you, we'll have you back. How can people get in touch with you in case they would like to get your book and just learn more about what you do?
My book is on Amazon. It's Real Life Marriage and for Traci Morrow. And my name is Traci. A lot of people are looking for a why, but you can also find me at tracimorrow.com. I respond always personally, so feel free to reach out.
All right, Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks so good, and we'll have you back. Always good to have Tracy on the show. Going back to taxes and our officials wanting to squeeze more of your wallet. Got a text from City Councilman Tom Duden, who just said, hey, anytime you talk about city budget, remind everyone to voice your concerns in the appropriate place. Come to the city council meetings. And he said this last budget hearing, not one person showed up to voice their concerns about it. And I know Tom is one of those elected officials who want to tighten the ship, want to do the right thing, and want to balance and have a great budget, a lean budget that benefits us. So we're not being taxed. So, Tom, thank you so much for your service and for your text. Appreciate that. Husker volleyball is coming up here in just a little bit against Penn State. 30 minutes after the game that's going on right now, looking for around 8 o'clock. We'll have all the coverage right here on KLIN. If you want to listen to the podcast of this show or previous shows, go to KLIN.com or your favorite podcast service. Thanks again to Traci Morrow. Special thanks to my producer, Wyatt. Only 82,800 seconds left until we see each other again, my friends. Seize everyone. Sports Nightly for a little bit, then Husker volleyball. Have a great night and go Big Red.
From the Momo Pizzeria and Ristorante Studios, we are the voice of Lincoln. KLIN Lincoln. KVDK HD3 Lincoln. K257GN Lincoln is.